years. So I'm glad to be back. I'm excited to be a part of the community, kind of get out there and see in what ways and forms we are able to help and contribute and give back to our community. Because that's necessarily what you really need, especially with pay cuts in schools, teachers. I have 3 sister-in-laws that are teachers for the LA Unified School District. They pay over $1,000 out-of-pocket expenses just on school materials. And at the end of the year, it adds up. So again, if you have any questions, I'll be in the back sitting down. I don't want to interrupt more of your class. If anybody has any other questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Tell us in terms of pricing and products that you guys offer, what's the difference between that and Costco, and why someone would want to come here and shop?
Okay, so the difference between us is that we actually have an employee that just works 40 hours, and all she does is comp shops. She goes to Costco 3 times a week, Smart and Final, and then she goes to some of our, Staples and what is it, Good Guys? Is that or that electronic shop? No, not Fry's. It was a different. Best Buy. Perfect. Thank you. So, and what she does is she goes every day of the week to try to make sure that we're able to offer and we are competitive with whatever pricing they have. We're guaranteed to save you up to 2%. In the items that we do sell. Now the difference is that our name brand is called Members Mark, which is Simply Right Now, and Costco has Kirkland. And now what the thing is with Costco now, what they're doing is that they're pretty much private labeling everything that they have within the organization. So if you go to Costco now, you're not going to see the famous name brands, the Downy, the Tide. Now everything is Members Mark. I mean, they even have a Members Mark wine product coming out, or they already have it from what I understand. So what we do is we try to stand behind our product and stand behind our name and not take away from the brand names that members are, our customers are used to. If you go to a store, if you see Tide and you see a non-name brand, of course you're going to go with Tide because that's what you're showed. And it's all the way you telemarket it. So at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Does that make sense? So like I said, we guarantee our prices. And like I said, as a matter of fact, I visit a business member actually. And one of our communities, you know what? He's a baker, and he's like, I buy those 25-pound bags of sugar. You guys sell them for $20. I get it at Costco for $17.48. So come Monday, I'm going to be at Costco to see what price they have, and I'm going to bring it down just to match their price. So that's how it works.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your competitive advantage in the community? Like does Costco, do they have community, like how you guys work with nonprofits in the community? Can you have a grant program that seems to be really easy and really user-friendly?
Right, and it is, like I said, it's really, really user-friendly. Like I said, I know you guys used it before in the past, right, Norris, with Enrique. So all you do is just, like I said, just go online. I don't know what Costco has to offer as far as how they do their grants or they do their community involvement. I'm not really familiar with what they do. But what I can say is, I went to McClay Middle School, or is it middle school? Yeah. I went there to introduce myself to the principal. They're actually having they're launching their new breakfast in class program. And the reason that McClay Junior High School is doing that is due to the fact that, and I think it's all nationwide with all the schools, because I know my son's school just recently started 2 weeks ago. They believe that, and which is true, statistics say that, the first thing in a child's development is breakfast in the morning. A lot of kids don't eat breakfast, so they wait till nutrition. Then they're too busy, they want to go play with their friends, so they don't get to eat. Then they wait till lunch, and by the time they come home, they're like, Mom, I'm starving, I'm hungry, I haven't ate all day, So what they're doing now is instead of having recess for the children, they're actually going to have them have breakfast in homeroom. They're going to feed all the kids in homeroom now. Nice. So, which is a great thing because, a lot of kids might not be fortunate enough not to be able to have a meal coming home. So, one of the teachers had said, I went to Costco and all they gave me was a $25 gift card. So I offered to volunteer some work once they launch this program if they need help with the cafeteria and how to distribute lunches or how to prepare them. I told them I would get a group of associates and we can go there, donate our time, and get them $1,000. So like I said, it all depends on what the need is. Unfortunately, there's times where we have everybody, especially with the holidays coming on board. I want to help everybody and be able to just give it all out, but I do have a limit. So, but other than that, that's something that I've really been embraced by working for this company. I think that's the only reason why I've been with the company for so long, is because you're able to look and see what you're able to give back. We also work with LA Food Bank. All our product, we donate it to LA Food Bank. And I'm not sure if you guys do any volunteer work or if you guys ever do that. You know, I go and work at the LA Food Bank once a year. And what we do is they have this big old warehouse in LA, and they break down all the product that's being donated from every company, not just Sam's Club, but every company that donates their frozen product, their breads, and we pack it for them. And then they take it to the local, you know, they get a big old truck, they load it up, and they park in low-income areas, and then they go ahead and feed the children and give it out. I know that we have a place called Men here in Pacoima, so I'm trying to get in there. I want to go in there and help. I want to be able to say, hey, I made an impact and I was able to make a difference. Not only does it make you feel good as a person, but it just makes you feel well that you're able to just help somebody and just see their faces, you know, of just appreciation that they say thank you. You'd be amazed what's out there.
Tell us a little bit, and we do understand Walmart's the largest retail company
Yes,
in the world.
it is.
Right, and she works for them. What about the career scenario or the career path for those students that might be looking to get a job?
I got a perfect one myself. So when I went into Sam's Club, I started off as a part-time door greeter. I was not looking into Sam's Club being a career, let me tell you. I was married, you know, I wanted some income for myself because my husband kept saying, you know, you just love to spend money. Who doesn't love to spend money, right? So I said, you know, I'm just gonna get a part-time job. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I said, I'm gonna get a part-time job. So I started off with Sam's Club as a part-time door greeter. From there, I was antsy-pantsy, and I'm just like, you know what, I gotta do something different. This is, you know. So I kept telling my boss, hey, I wanna be a cashier. And she said, okay, made me a cashier. From there, I said, hey, I wanna be a supervisor. What do I need to do to be a supervisor? You know, gave me a chance to become a supervisor, and then from there, I just continued to grow with the company. So pretty much at Sam's Club and at Walmart, you know, you pretty much create your own destiny of how far you want to go with the company. We will provide you with the tools that you will need to be able to become successful, but it all depends on the passion that you have and the drive that you have to be able to accomplish something. And that's what the biggest, greatest thing is about it. And it works with Sam's Club and Walmart. We will guide our associates to get them promoted and get them to where they want to be, but it's pretty much an individual base of what is it exactly that you want to accomplish.
Last question that I have to ask. What's the difference between the regular membership and the business membership? Because I have a business membership, and I know that there's some advantages to having one of those.
Well, definitely having a business membership, it comes with 3 membership cards. So the difference between that is, you know, you get the one for the business, for spousal and the owner, and then you get a company card. And the company card is, let's just say, for example, you're not able to do your errands or you're not able to come to the store to get what you need. You're able to send an employee of your company with the company card to be able to do some of the purchases for you. We offer a program which is called Fax and Pull and Click and Pull. So what you do is you could do it online or you can fax us your order. We'll have it ready for you the next morning at 7 a.m. We open our doors at 7 a.m. for all our business members. Costco doesn't open until 10 o'clock. By then you've already wasted some of the time. And you know, we know that running a business is very time consuming. I mean, your time is valuable. So that's one of the things that we try to do for our members and helping them that out. We also have a Discover program where you can also apply for Sam's Club credit, and that's for both Advantage and business. And you can earn, right now, you can actually, with our new Discover card program, you can earn up to 5% cash back just on gas.
What are some of the requirements for the business?
All I would need is if you're going to be purchasing for resale, I would just need a tax ID form saying that you are tax exempt. And then I would also just need a license for the business, just that the business is named under it. And, you know, it's $45, it's the same thing. But like I said, I still have the promotion for you, so you can take advantage of that.
Thank you so much. Give her a hand, you guys.
Thank you. She had a question. Just one more question. Yes, ma'am.
Do you get a discount when you're in business?
Discount. We don't really believe in giving discounts because we try to maintain our prices at an everyday low price. One of the great things that we just started, and I have the coupon book in the back, we actually started doing what we call instant savings. Oh, he's got it right there. There you go. Thank you so much. And this is something that we just started this year. Absolutely. This is something that we just started this year. They get changed every year. And just for being a Sam's Club member, you're able to take advantage of some of our low prices. Now at Costco, they have like, oh, you have to bring your coupon in, and we'll go ahead and that way you can get the price for the, thank you so much, for the price that you want to get. You know, our prices stay the same all year long. So we don't need, you know, any type of propaganda or to say, hey, come shop with us. You know, if you're going to buy Tide for, let's say, $15 with the coupon, we already have it at $15. So these get changed every year. We have a lot of great events coming up this coming week. We're going to be having the Taste of Sound, which is going to run from November 14th to the 16th, which is we're going to be able to have our members actually go in and take advantage of the tastings that we have of all the new holiday items that we have. We have like a pie event. We're going to be having a dessert cake
You know how
event.
those cookies, those little almonds? What type of cookies?
We used to have the wedding cookies. I don't know if this Sam's Club has it, but I know we had the Greek wedding cookies over at the Sam's Club in Santa Clarita.
Coming in.
Now at the and then again, everybody lives in different areas, but Santa Clarita is not that far from here. You know, we also have an optical department over there, you know, which is great, and we have an in-house doctor that will do eye exams, which is great. You know, those that want to get their eyes examined, we take most insurance, and the prices are reasonable. I believe just for an eye exam, it's like $60. And then we have also our pharmacy here at Sam's Club, where you can, you know, get your generics for $4. You know, and your insurance also, you can use your insurance to cover it, but you still have to pay the copay. So I always balance it, you know, hey, well, how much is my copay for my insurance? Oh, $10. So how much is the generic? $4, right? Give me the $4 one. You know, so it all just depends, but we try to cater as much as we possibly can to try to, you know, especially with this economy, I'm just, everyone's watching that dollar, right? Everyone's watching that spending dollar. So we try to bring value back into your lives. You know, if there's anything I can ever help you with, you know, like I said, my name is Delia. I'm the assistant manager in San Fernando.
Thank you, Danya.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Dolly's gonna hang out for a little while before she leaves to her next destination. So if you are interested in signing up, I don't know anybody else gonna give you a $15 gift card for just signing up for what they normally, you know, charge anyways. What I brought up on the board, just so you know where we went to apply for our $1,000 community grant, simply to Walmart local giving program. You gotta put in some basic information about your organization, throw in your tax ID number, mission, vision, and it'll get emailed directly to the store that you are partnering with, and then they'll get that email and do a manager's meeting and decide, okay, yes or no. And you know, it happens pretty quickly. Like, it's not a long process, right?
Yeah, and you know, and you'd be amazed at how many. I mean, I wish I could just say, here, take it all, because they're all great organizations that are asking for our help. So it does become that once in a while. It becomes very competitive, and you're just kind of like, what do I do?
Work grant isn't competitive though, right?
But
I know, but when it comes,
how do you have a competitive advantage?
you have a competitive advantage because you have all these organizations that are asking for money all at one time. So you'd be amazed of how many grant offers.
How does the company, how does the nonprofit become competitive?
What we do is we look and see, okay, well, is this someone that we've already helped, maybe that we can probably have someone that we can help that's new to the organization. You know, that's how we try to balance it. But sometimes, you know, if it's someone that just, you know, the same that goes over and we feel like, okay, well, you know what, this is a great cause, let's go ahead and continue with that one. We try to balance it. That's what we try to do, is try to balance and come to an agreement as to where the funds will go.
Awesome. Okay, I want to show you guys a few things, and then I'm going to bring up our guest speaker, our keynote speaker. One of the things I want to show you is when you click on the local giving program, for every grant that you may or may not be interested in, you're going to have to fill out some type of application and do maybe a grant proposal. All right, and for those nonprofits that are newer, that could be a daunting task, you know, to put that research together. But from Walmart's perspective, they don't require you to submit a grant proposal. You just have to put the information here onto the website, and then, you know, hit submit. So if you're interested in applying for grants, if you're thinking like, oh man, you know, this is a tough thing, it's not as tough as it seems. You just have to be dedicated and willing to put in some time and fill it out. But what I want to show you now is an actual template for a grant proposal. Okay, and there are certain requirements that come with grants. I learned 15 years ago that writing grants is an art form. It's not the easiest thing to do. One of my mentors, a gentleman that runs the California Endowment, you know, he sent me back to the drawing board plenty of times. He kept telling me, Norris, you know what, this isn't good enough. You know, there's a lot of people submitting for millions of dollars, and this isn't good enough. One of the things you have to do is you have to do research. A grant is a research project in essence. You have to go out and get statistics and data to back up what you're asking for. So for example, with the Business Entrepreneurship Club, you know, when we first started this, we didn't know exactly what it was going to look like at the end. We just said, hey, we want to do this. Oscar came to me. He says, lead us. But as we've been going along, we've been getting the statistics and the research to back up what we're saying. And the proof is happening as we speak. This need statement. Why do you need the money? This probably should take you a week to figure that out. Because you have to keep tweaking it and tweaking it. Everybody has a need, right? No one cause is bigger than the other, right? Cancer, diabetes, homelessness, hunger, veterans. I mean, you can go on and on about everybody's cause, right? Drunk driving, this, that, and the other. It's all important. Why do you need the money more than somebody else? Think about that. Like if you know all these organizations have a need, what makes your need more important? That's to the competitive advantage that Mia was talking about, because companies are looking at it and they're going, man, you know, I want to help the local church. I want to help the kids that, you know, need clothes. I need to help this, that. But they can't help everybody, right? Even though they got billions and billions of dollars.
That's when you go to Walmart.
Right.
You go from Sam's and you jump over to Walmart.
Yes, yeah.
But as someone who's actually given away money, and lots of it, there's kind of two things. That's very important, and also the relationship. Make a relationship with the person. If you have a relationship with your local general manager at Sam's Club, you can say, well, this is what we needed, and this is what Sam's Club's getting at. Did you know that, you know, maybe we service some of your employees? You know, that's helpful information. Or, so like she said, we'll keep doing it, they'll do good work. Well, they can only know that if they have a relationship.
And I want you to talk.
And that's the most
And that's
important.
the key, because
It
there's
comes to loyalty and just knowing that.
I've been shopping Sam's Club for a long time.
Yeah.
Spent thousands, you know. It's just now, you know. But and Mia's gonna talk about all that because I know she has that on her presentation. This template is a guideline. All grants are written differently, and that's what I learned. You can't just write a grant the same way every time. Every organization requires different requirements. It can't be, you know, it's all custom. That's why grant writers get paid a lot of money. You know, they get paid a lot of money based upon their writing skills and research and their relationships. All right. In terms of that need statement, you have to actually define or describe the specific problem. You have to make sure that you outline the actions that you're going to deal with that problem. That's very important. What are you doing? What are you going to do? You know, and how are you going to get it accomplished? So, plan of attack, action plan, all that's included in this. You have to have goals. You have to have well thought out curriculum if it's dealing with teaching somebody something. These are all part of how you would put a grant together. And let me tell you, it takes months to get a good grant. It's not something that you can do overnight. But the good thing is called the internet. Everything's available. The resources that you need are all on the internet. You know, and you go to those sources and you find out more and more. That was one of the things I had to learn from my mentor. He said, look, I need you to do more research to find out what exactly we're requiring. And you know, California Endowment is number 2 or 3 in the state of California, 15 on the national giving list. They're about $3.5 billion in assets, and you know, they give a lot. Obviously, at the top is the Gates Foundation. They're giving away as much as they can, but they really like to give to kids more so than adult programs. So, you know, computers and stuff for kids, libraries. That's their mission. And you have to read the company that's giving you money's mission, you know, because that has to align with yours in some way. All right, so I'll come back to more of this. I want to break it up and bring up Mia Gorman from the Gorman Group. I want her to talk to us a little bit about what she's done in the philanthropic area, as well as her career in nonprofit, and some of that grant stuff that we're so interested in learning about.
Well, hi, my name is Mia. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
When you think about relationships and why that's important, I didn't really know what I was coming to be honest with you. I just got a 3-word message, I need you to come. I didn't even figure out where LA Mission College was until this morning. But as I have a 3-year-old, as I was telling my godmother who was watching him, is I said, Norris asked me, so I got to do this. So I came. So how do you build those relationships? You check in with people. He keeps me abreast of what he's doing. I keep him abreast of what I'm doing. I try to look for win-win situations. And that's the kind of the nexus of relationships. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and why Norris feels I'm qualified to be up here. I used to work in banking. I started working for Bank of America when I was 13 years old. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And when they rioted here in Los Angeles, they rioted in Seattle. And the mayor at the time said, well, these kids are mad. They're at risk. It took me 5 years to figure out what at risk meant and what we were at risk of. But I went into the bank. They were hiring, and they were giving out scholarships. I saw a $100,000 scholarship, and I was like, I'm in. And they interviewed 22,000 kids. I guess that's a lot of at-risk youth. And they only chose 48. And when he was mentioning do your research, I didn't know at the time. So they say, why do you want to work here? Why should we hire you? And I said, well, because you'd be glad to associate my name with your company. And they're like, okay, what do you ultimately want to do here? And I said, I want to be president. Well, at 13 years old, that's really the only title I knew. So I said that. To make a long story short, I was interviewing with the president. And you fast forward 10 years later, when I was at Wells Fargo, and I was applying to do commercial banking, where most of the people there are at least 40. You have to have an MBA. You have to have gone to an Ivy League school. And I was applying, and I was competitive. And they could tell I knew what I was talking about. But they're looking at me, and they're saying, but she's so young. But she knows what she's talking about. And the head guy met with me and was like, so tell me about yourself. I need to understand. So to make a long story short, I told him my background. So he called John Rinlove, who was the president of Seafirst Bank before it got bought out by Bank of America. And he asked him, do you know this Mia Gorman? She's claiming she used to work there. She was like, he said, how could I forget her? She told me she could do my job at 13. And so I worked in banking for a long time. And you guys are all familiar with 2007, 2008, where they had the financial crisis. And during that time, my mother was also ill. And after she passed away, I decided that I wanted to make positive investments. I wanted to use my investment strategies to do something better for the world. I had a midlife crisis at 27. And I wrote a Dear John letter to my friends and said I want to, just do something philanthropic. And I got an email from a friend of mine that worked at the California Community Foundation. Said, have you thought about working here? I was like, I've heard of you guys. And we're hiring for a scholarship program. So I said, well, I've gotten a scholarship. I can do this. So I forwarded my resume, and I didn't change my resume. And they go, she's not qualified to do this. And I go, oh, okay. But she's qualified to do a better position where she would make double the money. Why didn't she apply for this? Didn't know about it. And to make a long story short, I was their first African-American charitable business development officer. And California Community Foundation is number 48, I believe, in assets that they give away. We are, I say we because they're still a client, they give away about $34 million just in the LA County area. And so I went on to work there, and I worked there for 3 years, and then after having my son, I had another crisis. I always had this midlife crisis. And I decided that I didn't want to be rushing to pick my son up from school. And I would be better off being a partner for them than being a employee. And they went for it. I did research this time, and I said, you guys are missing it on the entertainment industry. They give away this much money. We're not really providing a resource for them, but I understand because you're more bureaucratic, you really can't be as flexible as they need you to be. And I left 2 years ago. And since then, they've been a client. The President of the United States was a client. 2 days ago, you guys want to hear, this is being recorded?
Yeah, so.
Oh, I was going to
Tell a secret. I mean,
This is being recorded.
and nobody's watching or listening to us until we promote it, so you can get away with it.
Really?
Yeah, you can edit.
Well, 2 days ago, a certain politician has decided that she's going to run for president. And she met with me and some other people to help with her campaign. And just so you know, politicians are fundraisers. You're a professional fundraiser. I mean, that is a train that never stops coming. And I fundraised for the Barack Obama campaign, and then I'm going to be fundraising for her. So I've given away money, I've raised money, I've asked for money, and I've been good at all three areas, and that's how I'm able to be successful. Because I know what the grant maker's looking for, because I've given away the money. I know what I need to get it because I've asked for it. So what I suggest, I don't know where all of you guys are coming from, and I really want to make sure that I answer your specific question. So how many of you guys are working for a nonprofit now and you want sponsorship? Okay, one. How many of you are looking to just work for a nonprofit? Maybe not in fundraising, but maybe you want to work in a program. Okay. And what are some of the other things that you guys want to do?
They may not know you.
You may not know. Okay. Great. Just kind of like me applying to be a scholarship officer and not realizing that scholarships are heavily regulated, but I figured that I was qualified because I had gotten one. So I'm glad that you guys are here and we can explore more your careers, and I can give you guys my contact information. So for you guys who are working for nonprofits and you're looking for funding, it's very competitive, like she said. Where a lot of nonprofits seem to be missing the ball is taking the time to do the research, taking the time to do relationships, and then also sponsors are looking to do something, and as well as grant makers, something that's meaningful. They're kind of over the rubber chicken dinner, if you will. They don't want to just have their brand on a step and repeat. They want to actually know that they've made a difference and they've made an impact and they've created some loyalty with their clients. And you do that in myriad ways. So if you can put together, it takes a little more time, but it's more impactful long term. If you can put together some meaningful sponsorship programs, you'll be a little bit more successful. So for example, I've worked with Step Up Women's Network, and they help young ladies go to college. So we went to the Container Store. So when we had our event, the Container Store had an actual dorm, and what they did was they gave away dorm supplies. Well, all the donors that are in the audience start realizing, oh, well, I have a daughter that's going out to college. Maybe I need to go to the Container Store, because a lot of times people think of maybe Target. So that's how they were able to be competitive, because they were able to create a sponsorship opportunity that, yes, they're getting the tax write-off, if you will, but they're also getting a business benefit. So if you can create those kinds of situations where, you're able to say, we're savvy, we get this, you guys are a business, you guys need to make money in order to give us money. Here are some ways that we can align ourselves in what we're doing and make more sense for you. Versus just, we're going to give you $25,000, sit at a table. Most of the people at the table probably already are Sam's Club members, And how do we get some new customers? How do we remain sticky with some of our existing clients? Maybe you may say to an organization, hey, Costco's has been very good to us. So sometimes I've seen sponsors give money because they don't want their sponsor to be the only person in the room. So sometimes they'll give just so that they can be in the room too. So they can realize that, there's not just Costco, there's also Sam's Club, there's not just Starbucks, there's also Coffee Bean. So sometimes they'll sponsor just because of who else is sponsoring. So you want to know those kinds of things. Do your research. If you know that an organization is getting ready to be new to the community, figure out a way that maybe you can welcome her. We're going to welcome the new GM. The proceeds are going to go to the LA mission. She gets to get indoctrinated to the community. You guys get a grant. You guys create a relationship, and she's going to remember who welcomed her, right? So you think of those kinds of situations. There's all kinds of sponsorship benefits on your website, tweeting. Maybe they can have a dedicated e-blast where you talk about some of the great products, or maybe you talk about you guys had this great workshop and all the food was provided by this particular sponsor. All of those media impressions make a difference. And there's actually a dollar amount that comes to that. So if you do more research, there's actually a formula that you can say for every 2 eyeballs, I think they benefit by getting like $1,000 or something like that. So do your research. Don't just say 10,000, 25,000, 50,000. Really make it make sense. And then I also suggest that when you're dealing with sponsors, think of ways that you guys can actually, they can not just be a sponsor, you guys can actually be partners. So maybe you have an organization where, like you said, you're providing volunteer opportunities. So do you guys have any questions? I feel like you guys are ways to go here.
You were talking about nonprofit organizations. Is there a way that somebody can sponsor or a grant or a way? She's my daughter and she wants to go to study abroad, but they're asking $27,000 and we don't have that amount of money. So is there a way that we can find somebody who can help us or?
Well, there's a couple of ways. Nonprofits are heavily regulated. The whole philanthropic tax exempt industry is heavily regulated, so you can't have a designated person. You have to have, so you, like for example, I had a client, he went on the Oprah show and someone said that, she was making people's wishes come true. And one of these guys, he went to UCLA, had all these student loans. So my client said, I'll pay off his student loans. So he called UCLA and said, I'll pay off so-and-so student loans. I said, okay, we forwarded the money. Then his CPA called and said, I would like to have an acknowledgement letter, which gives them the tax deduction. And I had to say, there is no tax deduction. Well, aren't they a university? Aren't they a nonprofit? Yes, but the person was predetermined. And if they're predetermined, you can't get a tax write-off. So to answer your question, yes, there are people out there that are looking to sponsor those types of things. There's the Pass It Along Fund, where
Say that again?
Pass It Along Fund.
Pass it along, did you write that down?
Pass it along. I don't know that they'll give you $27,000,
No, but
but they can. Yeah, there's the Jewish Federation, Jewish Free Loan, where they can at least give you a loan and not charge you interest for it, and then you can take 3 years to pay it back, interest free. That's their way of giving back to the community. Jewish Federation, yeah, or it's called Jewish Free Loan. Do we have live internet?
Yeah, we do. And
So-
Oscar wants to ask.
And real quick, and sometimes it's just being creative. Maybe creating a YouTube video of yourself, put it in the media, and this is what you want to do. Promoting yourself. Why do you want to go out there?
What's the other one, the funding thing, or the one that people, use the internet to?
Kickstarter?
Yeah, Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. And if you're looking for a sponsorship with your marketing dollars, what is this particular organization gonna get? Because since they're not gonna get a tax write-off because you're a predetermined person, maybe you're gonna say that I write articles, I have a blog, I have
First generation
I-
college student, family. Yeah.
so
Those are
maybe,
big things.
send out a press release. I don't know if you have $150, but you can say, hey, I'll send out a press release about your altruistic endeavors. Maybe get with Expedia, maybe get with Virgin Airlines, maybe get with American Airlines.
What side did you want me to maybe?
I was just gonna say they can go to Jewish Free Loan.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The Pass It Along Fund, they do have predetermined people. And the way that fund works is you pass it along. So say she wants to go on this trip, right? So the requirement would be that you have to then help someone else. You don't have to say how you're gonna help, but you just have to be willing to pass it along.
I have a question. As far as grants and everything, you said you have are there any things that we should be careful putting into our grants so that we don't kind of automatic disqualification type stuff?
Great question. So a lot of times people have mission drift.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is we went to an organization that was a foster care organization. Now, we do our research too. And we knew that they had a city grant. And what the city grant was requiring, unfortunately, there's no way that they could meet those requirements and meet our requirements. Because they were counterproductive. They were kind of competing against each other. And they said, oh, no, this, we're able to do this. And we're like, we know you're not able to do it. Because contractually with the city, you have to do certain things. So what I mean by mission drift is, for example, Chrysalis, they help the homeless get jobs, right?
And the new trend in treating homelessness is permanent housing. So there was this forum where the city met with all the different nonprofit agencies and said, we want to make sure that the homeless has permanent housing. And most people felt like, oh, well, first it's costly going to do that because they're a very well-ran organization. Well, they said no. They said, well, we'll give you $2 million to do it. They said, no, that's not what we do. We help the homeless with jobs. We don't want to do something where now we're required to provide housing. We don't know how to manage buildings. We don't know how to buy real estate. But there are a lot of organizations that's like, I'll take it. So, and $2 million seems like a lot of money, but an 8-unit building is $750,000 in a bad neighborhood, right? So, if the grant agreement may say, we want you to provide housing to 50 homeless people permanently. Well, if you can't get 50 units at $2 million. But you just saw the dollar sign and not what the grant agreement. So, and because that's not what you do, you don't even know who else is going to help match their grant. And then now you're in a situation where you haven't met the grant agreement. So people don't just give money away, especially at that level. There's a grant agreement.
And so let's say you do grant some money or somebody does. Do they do any type of like research as far as what you do with the money after that? Or
Oh, absolutely. You have to submit a budget.
Okay. So it's not like I just get the money and then we're
Right, and sometimes, like for example, we'll say we're going to give you $100,000, right? We may not give it to you all at once. We may give you $25,000 every quarter, or $50,000 every year for the next 2 years.
So it's not as easy as a checks.
No. So a lot major funders when you're talking about like Annenberg, California Community Foundation, James Irvine Foundation, you send out a letter of intent. That's the first thing you do. And then they decide whether or not they want you to go through the grant process, right? And then once you go through the grant process, then that goes to their board. And it goes on something called a board docket. And then the board decides who they're going to give the money to. But you may not even get to that level. So why I said relationships are important is, that's a lot of time, not with a nonprofit, not just a small business like you were talking about. It's time. Time is money, right? It's a resource, and you can't get it back. You can get money back, but you can't get your time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So if you have relationships, sometimes you can call on the phone, and I can say, this is really well written, but we don't get to that. And they're like, well, you said you give the foster care. Yeah, we give the foster care, but we give to emancipated youth. So we give so if you're not helping students that are 18 to 22, then we're not going to give you a grant. And you could be providing great foster care programming for those in middle school, but you're not aligned with what we give our grants to. Or I may say to you, you haven't been unfortunately, maybe you haven't been in business long enough. You haven't been doing this long enough for us to feel comfortable giving you this kind of money. And then you may say, well, in order for me to do good, I need money to do good. So then what? Then you apply for a capacity building grant. And even then, you have to have a budget.
Can you touch on careers in the nonprofit sector in terms of the money that people make, the actual jobs that are done? A lot of people volunteer their time, and volunteerism is really big, but in order to get paid, what kind of jobs can you do?
Well, there's a whole lot of jobs, and I think that is great that this is the business entrepreneurship club, right? Because nonprofits is a business. They're just taxes. It's still a business. So you can be a president of an organization. You can be a lawyer. You can be a chief marketing officer. You can fundraise. You can do programming. You can do government relations. You can be the volunteer coordinator. You can go out and see what other programs are being done. So you can be an analyst. You can do grant agreements. You can, like we talked about with the grants when I was talking with him, then there's, like we said, there's a board docket. You can be a board liaison. So you liaise between the organization and their board of directors. You can be an insurance person that provides insurance to the nonprofits. You could be a CPA that specializes in tax-exempt organizations, human resources, fundraising.
A lot of opportunity.
There's a lot of opportunities. You can, social media, a lot of nonprofits are looking for social media people now.
Is the structure of a non-profit organization the same as a business?
Yes, very, very much so. And depending on what you want to do, like I personally, nothing against the people who like to do programming, but I knew I didn't want to like wonder if I was going to have a pencil. So I would work for a foundation. So I was making the same amount of money that I was used to making. So like a development officer makes anywhere from $80,000 to $120,000. That's the person that does the fundraising. Program officers can make anywhere from $90,000 to $130,000. Because just because you're giving away money, it's still a skill set in giving away money. Because you may have a portfolio and you may want to say, okay. Because part of the reason why these grant agreements are so important is, okay, well, what change? How did I move the needle? So I gave away like I have a friend who's a development officer, he's a program officer, and because he was giving out grants, but it wasn't moving the needle in his interest area, he's not going to be there next month. Because they were saying, okay, we've only helped 100 kids. We want to help 1,000. So maybe you're not out in the community enough, or maybe you're not choosing organizations that really truly have the capacity to help 1,000. You can go to the Chronicle of Philanthropy because compensation is really heavily regulated. So, for example, if you're a private foundation, I advise some people does anyone know what a private foundation is?
Explain the difference between public and private.
So a private foundation is your money. It's one donor, and it's like Bill Gates may have a private foundation. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is not a private foundation anymore. But say like Annenberg, that's a private foundation. Annenberg, he put up $3 million. It's his money, right? He can't accept donations because technically you're the funder and you're private. If you are, his foundation is a 501c3.
Okay. So does he donate to his own organization, Tiger Woods? Like
He probably should.
Is that a conflict of interest? You donate to your own?
He probably, well, you're asking me, does he? Well, I mean, go to guidestar.com and you can put in the Tiger Woods Foundation and they can tell you where the money's coming from and where it's going. That's another great place to do research. And speaking of, so a public foundation is an organization that receives money from the public for the public benefit. So, for example, I had a client, and this is public information, like Leonardo DiCaprio. He had a private foundation, right? Well, private foundations aren't really private. You still have to file tax returns. So that someone went on the GuideStar, TMZ, went on the GuideStar and said, he's not really that philanthropic. He's getting most of his money from watch organizations. He only gave away he only wrote $200,000 of his own money, which, quite frankly, I think is quite nuts. But they were saying, he's not really that philanthropic. He makes $20 million a film, blah, blah, blah. So, because that's public, then he decided to put it in a community foundation, which is a fund of funds. And now their 990, which is their tax-exempt form, is 1,000 pages. And his foundation is just a fund number. So now you don't know who's given to it. You don't know what is giving out. You actually do have some privacy. So sometimes that's some of the strategy that our firm does, is how to figure out how to best position you, because sometimes donors want to be anonymous. And maybe they're maybe because they're an actor or actress, they don't want everyone knowing who they give money to.
What was the other one to find the job that
Idealist?
Center for,
To find the compensation? Chronicle of philanthropy. The reason why I'm telling you about that compensation is because private foundations, sometimes rich people, what happen is their son or daughter goes to Wharton or Harvard, and then they worked for Lehman Brothers, and then they got laid off. And they're saying, oh, okay, well, they can just run the private foundation, and we'll pay them $1 million a year. Well, because that's regulated. Compensation is regulated. You may say, well, that's not really in line with their skill set. That's not in line with what most nonprofit presidents make. Most of them make maybe about $350,000, and that's after they've been doing this for 10 years. So your really smart son that's 26 years old and just graduated from Harvard, maybe he should get $120,000. Now, we may be thinking, well, I'm thinking $120,000. Oh, that's a lot of money. But if your family is used to giving away $120,000 a week, it's all relative. So you can go there and it tells you there should be a compensation or facts and figures. Executive compensation. Like, I'm a proponent of fundraisers getting paid better, more money. Because if investment, when you sell stocks and bonds, you get bonuses, you get all kinds of stuff. You actually, and then when you're a fundraiser, no one really wants to pay you. And it's the same skill set. You're managing relationships, you're putting together proposals, you're putting together a pitch, you're marketing, you're taking people to lunch. Same thing.
So I brought up the Center for, the Foundation Center, and this, you guys are down here, and this is one of those kind of organizations that does what you said Leo wanted to have done, which is hide him on the 990 or something.
Right. So you can put his name into this, when it says search CCF, put Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't know how to spell Leonardo, N-A-R-D-O, is that what it is?
Yeah. D-I.
Oh, D-I? C?
No, it's space.
Oh, space.
DiCaprio.
How do you spell DiCaprio?
P-R-I-O, I think.
Alright, let's see. Go to his foundation?
So now he can do what he wants and it can be private.
So, with his foundation being under the CCF, he can kind of hide what he does.
High seems so he can have some autonomy. And not have the administrative burden. And then you have some people that do it both ways. You have like Eva Longoria.
Oh, Eva?
So,
O-N-G?
R-I-A. So hers is just a fund.
And, part of this process, what we're showing you is nothing substitutes just doing research. Just Googling, pulling stuff up. Unfortunately, until you do that, in this world, you're not going to find the connections, you're not going to find the money. And then once you find the money, you got to do your homework to figure out how you can get some of the money. Some of it's daunting. Like, you don't want to do, the grant, or you don't want to, get to a deadline. They have deadlines. Did you guys have deadlines?
Oh, yeah, we have deadlines.
The deadlines, you can't beat the deadline. That'll.
Then there's, so if you want to, there's an organization that we're in for people who actually give away money. It's California Grant Makers. And that's how we get together and figure out who we're going to give money to. And how we're going to do it strategically.
You're selling California Grant Makers, right? So you found out where to check to see if a nonprofit's real. That's GuideStar.
And you can see who they're giving to and how much.
You've seen where there is where the list of the top funders are, which is Foundation Center. Now you have Southern California Grant Makers, who shows you
these are all private foundations.
Who's giving out money.
And private foundations tend not to be as bureaucratic. It's normally just a group of family members and maybe a consultant like myself and maybe their CPA, and we look at grant proposals.
This is great to have a speaker series as well.
And go to it, network.
Because that's the relationships you're going to build. You have to see and talk to people a few times before they're gonna decide to give you $1 million. Anybody know any millionaires? Yeah, you know, you might know of them. Ask them for $1 million and see what they say.
Can you text them? That's what it really means when you say, when people say you know them.
All right, this is awesome research and information. Go ahead.
I have a good question. Let's say you do know $1 million, or let's say the person that makes $750 a year salary. How would you go about approaching that person?
Well, what I would suggest, because sometimes, like I get approached sometimes from my clients.
Right.
So do your research and see who are they? Who do they give to? Maybe they don't have a private foundation, but they need a tax write-off. If they're making $750, they're in the 47% tax bracket.
Right.
So you may want to.
Do you suggest something like a best packet of what you're doing? Maybe?
Well, I mean, you're doing it cold. What I suggest is you have.
Well, no, not cold. Like, let's say you know this person.
So you know that.
Or maybe you're 2 to 3 degrees away from this person. How would you go?
It depends. If you know them, there's one strategy. If you're 2 or 3 degrees away, there's another strategy.
Okay. So let's say let's say you know the person.
Let's say you know them. Let's say you're like one of my cousins who he plays professional basketball, right? And
Is he really?
yeah. How do you put? What is he into?
Correct.
And you can do research. Look at his Twitter feed. See what see what people are into. And because I always tell people, philanthropy, it's a heart condition. Like I had a client recently that said, I want to do some due diligence on you.
Right.
I want to hire you.
Right.
I'm like, hire me for what? And so I sent her over some stuff, and I understand before she even had too many conversations, she wanted to know who I was because she's a public figure.
Right.
So I sit down and I meet with her team, and they say to me, so what's your vision? What's your vision for working with this actress? I go, I don't create the vision. I execute the vision, but I don't create the vision. It depends on what's meaningful to her. What is it that she sees on the news that pisses her off? What is something that makes her so mad that she'll pay for the attorney to go fight? What really resonates with her? And if you find that, then it's a lot easier to get the check. Also, if like she said, like just knowing stuff. Like I know if you write me a check directly, that you're not going to get a write-off. So is this person willing to give you the money just because they know you and like you? Or maybe you want to get your ducks in a row so you can say, hey, I want you to work with me. I have tax exemption. Maybe you don't want to be a 501c3, but you want to be a fiscal sponsorship fund so that at least you get the tax exemption.
Right.
And you can say, we're tax exempt. I realize you're in the 47% tax bracket. Maybe invite their CPA. Maybe figure out who their CPA is. Go to Cal CPA tax exempt section and talk to CPAs, and so basically research because it has to resonate, right? Like sometimes people ask me to do things, and I do things if I'm interested in the topic or I have a relationship with that person.
The other part of that, because we deal with it every day, is you have to approach it the same way someone that doesn't know that person would ask for $1 million
Right.
or some money. You have to be very businesslike. You have to make sure that you've done your homework, okay? Just because you know them, that only gets you the phone call or the meeting.
Right.
If you go there and present nothing, they're not going to be apt to want to give you any money. And that's why I asked that question, because we know a lot of people, but when we ask them for money, it's like, oh, wait a minute,
In fact,
I
I
don't know you like that.
Well, exactly. I don't know if you like that.
And the one thing that I learned, I'm just getting with this one, is, it was pretty funny, but it says, don't ask me for anything you're not willing to give me.
Exactly.
So when you go to someone, you can ask them for something that you might be willing to give them as well. If it's $10,000, would you give that person $10,000 if you had?
Right.
And if you can say yes, then you can get it.
Yeah, and then be professional.
Right.
Because people seem to, and then they'll be pleasantly surprised. Because I've seen people who, like I said, I've sat with clients, and one of the things that my client, one of them was just like, okay, so you got the meeting, but what's your plan? Have a plan. Not just ask because I'm rich. Be thoughtful. Say, well, I noticed that you tend to be in these kinds of movies, or I noticed that, you thanked your mom when you, a lot, and you say she's the, she was the driving force, and I have an organization for single mothers. What's in it for them? So like, what's the real question? Money is just part of it, but what's the real question? What is it that you're asking them to commit to? And is it in alignment? Kind of like when you get asked for money all the time. You want it to be, are you tax exempt? I mean, are you putting an EIN number in there? Are you putting a tax exempt number in there? Do you have tax exemption? Have you, like it asked, what are other people doing it? I had a client recently that, part of the reason why she hired me because of introductions, I can get the meeting. So I got the meeting with the head of the California Community Foundation. The head of it represents 1,600 funds. Not only do they have discretionary given money, they have competitive grants. And then they have other people who give away money. So he said to me, oh, that's interesting. Well, what's the difference between you and this other organization that they support? She could not answer that. I was stunned, quite frankly, because I didn't even know I would have had to prepare her for that. So see, have they given to anybody else in your particular issue area? Have they given this kind of money before? If so, to who, how much? What's the difference between you and them? And it doesn't mean that you have to knock that other organization down. But one of the things that she could have said is, because it's an international relief organization, is not only do we do things internationally, but we do things locally. And I understand that this organization does not, and you guys do a lot of your discretionary grant making locally. So maybe we can work something out where you give money to us locally to get to know us. And then then you can go to your donors and say, not only have we, do we recommend this organization, we've given money to them. But she didn't know to say that. She was just like, well, I don't want to, talk bad about the other organization. I mean, they're a great organization. And he said, we're not asking you to do that. What is the difference? And there may not be a difference. And then maybe the difference is just, well, I know me. Whatever the situation is, and she has a relationship with you. But what is the difference? Know those things. So just so many times, people get the meeting and they're not prepared. And also understand, what is your ask going to be? Like, what's your ask? Like, what is it that you're asking for?
Okay.
Like, what is it that you're really asking for? A lot of times people just get the money because they have some money and I want some.
And we've seen it. We've both seen and witnessed it.
Yeah, I've
People
seen
get money
it.
and not know what to do with it.
Right.
And then just, want to spend it on whatever they want.
Right. Do you have the capacity to handle this? I had a friend of mine called me, and I wasn't professional. I didn't put her through the typical vetting process. So she had an event, and she didn't have a coordinator. Sponsor shows up there on time. She's getting her hair done. And it was like you didn't have the person there to greet them. So it's like simple things. Or people are like, oh, you have access to celebrities. You have access to the president. Well, I want to have the president at my house. I can raise money. And sometimes even rich people have to tell them, well, is your house going to pass a Secret Service inspection? Are you near a freeway? Is there some place, are you near a hangar where he can land? Do you have the capacity to handle what I'm giving you?
Finish on when you get the money, how do you have to account for it? What do organizations want to see in terms of benchmarks, in terms of site visits and things like that?
And that's a great question. They want to know whether, even if it's a sponsorship, they want to know what happened with my money. What was your situation before I gave it to you? What is your situation now? Maybe, like I said, it's foster kids. We gave money to an organization. We said, okay, we want more mentors for foster kids. Right now you're mentoring 50 kids, and we're going to give you some money so that now you can expand your program and you can mentor 1,000 kids, right? And of course, before we gave them the money, we said, what is your plan to do that? Well, we're going to hire a dedicated person. We're gonna also hire another person to go out and build these relationships with mentors. We have a database that's gonna track these kids, you know, where are you getting your data? Who's gonna put in the data? Garbage in is garbage out. So we ended up not renewing their grant, or cutting it short because they didn't get the 1,000 mentors. But then they said, well, we don't have the capacity. Oh, that's interesting, because I have this really well-written letter of intent that says that you have the capacity to change the world, to cure polio. You know, where's the cure? So if you say you're going to do something, do it. And you can't always have excuses. Just because you're tax exempt, and I tell people all the time, it's still a business. There are still metrics. You still got to hold people accountable. And you have to figure out what that nuance is. You know, I use foster care a lot because that's what I like to give money to. And a lot of times the kids don't show up to the life skills class. So, that's a problem. What are you going to do? I've given you the money. You've gotten the space. Now what are you going to do to make sure they get there? Are you marketing to them? Are you doing some kind of alumni situation where former foster kids, mentor the younger foster kids? Oh, that's a good idea. Why am I coming up with the idea? So just, have a business plan. Okay, they're going to give me $100,000 because it's still a business. Maybe it's not sales, but you're trying to change something. You're trying to move the needle on something. Or maybe you're trying to prevent something from happening. You guys work for some nonprofits. Maybe we can give more specific examples. What are some of the nonprofits that you work for in the issue areas?
Well, I work for Local right there. We work for Every Person We Care.
Okay.
Okay, so basically I have a,
I'm gonna bring up your.
Excuse me?
Go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna bring up your document.
Okay, yeah, so
I feel like I have a document.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool. My sincere apologies for being late, actually. But basically, we are an eco-friendly nonprofit organization designed to promote even over one project at a time. We sell 100% bamboo apparel, shirts, tendies, and sweaters. All the funds goes to a certain project. Our current project right now is called the Panama Project. The Panama Project is in collaboration with the Floating Doctors, because of the Doctors Without Borders. Floating Doctors is the same thing, but they do focus more on smaller communities and smaller islands in both Socorro. They don't have the necessary means to go to the mainland to receive medical attention. So the Floating Doctors went there to basically build a hospital on a raft. It's called a floating clinic. They went to 3 areas around both Socorro throughout the whole year. Construction starts in January to end in April, and actually meeting a team with all you guys to come out with us. Right here. We send this out along with our donation letters to donors, or I should say prospective donors.
So hold on. So this is your mission, right?
That is our mission. Yes, that is our goal.
Your mission does not tell me what you do. I know what you do now, but
Right.
your mission doesn't tell me what you do.
Well,
right?
there's one sheet overall tells us what.
Right. So there's mission,
Right.
then there's vision,
Okay.
right?
I guess you could call
So,
it a vision. I guess.
so what I'm doing, and this is free. I normally charge for this. So what I tell people is you want to have an 8-word mission.
An 8-word mission.
8-word mission. So that it's clear. People's attention span, like to be honest with you, and I do have ADD, I will say that. I was like, what does he do? Because while you're talking, I'm thinking, how can I help? Do I have a client that can give him some money?
Right.
But it took 20 seconds for me to get to, like, what is bamboo and what, you see what I'm saying? So if it's 8 words, and I'm just trying to help,
Right,
yeah.
right.
If it's 8 words, then you can just off the bat, this is what we do.
Right.
And then also, so those 8 words is you want to know, you want to have in it the population
Right.
that you're trying to serve,
Okay.
right? What you want the outcome to be.
Okay.
Like we give the homeless jobs. That's their mission for Christmas. So you have the population, homeless, right? And you have what they want to do. Jobs. I know exactly what they do. Now, of course, if you get a longer meeting, then you can go into how you do that and why you need to do that and all that kind of stuff, right? But their mission is to give the homeless jobs. So you may want to say the area. Sometimes I tell people our mission is to give the homeless jobs in LA County. Then it's quick, it's to the point, it's easy, and everybody knows whether or not they want to fund you. You get what I'm saying?
No, I completely understand. It's just, I guess we're a little bit.
'Cause it's like
in the
every-
sense that
so like-
it would be specific to a certain project that
Then you may say, then you may have a vision.
Like a housing project, buildings.
Right, but the mission of, so each project, if when you're doing things that are project-based, then each project should have a mission,
Okay,
right?
so what would be the overall mission if you went down?
So we would say, where is it, in Panama?
Yeah, and that is
Right.
our current project right now, so.
We provide health care to the residents of Panama. Period, end of story. Yep, that's what we do. So we don't have to worry about, do you guys do foster care? No. Do you guys help kids in Uganda? No. We help people, and then there's private foundations that just help that area. And it makes it easier for you, so when you go to Foundation Center, you just put in Panama, you put in healthcare, and you get all the people who want to give to you. Your vision may say, we help with, and I would need some more time with this, but we support projects, humanitarian areas around the world in an eco-friendly way.
And this is their donation support letter that they're sending out with the one sheeter, right?
Right.
Yes. So this is more specific.
While you guys are looking, if you social networking today, Twitter, Instagram, hashtag, and add some more to it. Add your name, add whatever you want to hashtag, but we want to make sure that we create a social networking presence as well.
Right.
I just want to add to that. I had an internship job during the summer, and I was back and forth, New Jersey and New York, but I worked for a nonprofit microfinancing, and I've learned a lot about, because I was with the grant writer,
Right.
I was with the CEO, and I mean, it was a great opportunity, but the fact the way they documented information
Right.
is they had a credit builder program. They got it, they give it out to the community, small business to help develop their credit and everything for access to capital. And I've noticed that they brought some other group to be able to get some data, to bring back those customers and to get this information out. They gather that information down, and this is what they're putting into their grant writing.
Right.
This is what they're putting into the proposals to kind of show other companies this is why we need the money, this is how we're helping out.
Right, because you may say there's 20,000 residents in Panama, and there's no hospital. That numbers speak to people.
Right.
Or like when I tell people, one of the organizations I'm working with in Africa, there's only 4 children's hospitals, period, across the continent. and so people understand, I say the United States can fit in Africa 8 times. So, can you imagine only a half of a children's hospital in all of the United States?
Putting it into perspective.
Yeah. So, how big is Panama? The first we were helping Panama. How many people are going without health care? You might want to put that. How many doctors do you need to send? How much does it cost per person? That's why that Feed the Children commercial is like so compelling and everybody. No, seriously, because it breaks
I mean,
it.
she makes you pretty much feel like you want to cry. What's the girl that's selling it? Melissa. What's her name? You guys, she's an actress.
I know you're talking about.
Melissa. She was on.
Yeah, for 39 cents a day,
Yeah,
for one latte, you can make an impact. Or
Melissa Milan.
yeah,
She's the one that's selling it because she makes you want to cry.
right,
excuse me, check.
right. So you help people understand, because what you're doing is you're passionate about this. So far, you're funding this, right? You're the donor. You're So why are you so passionate about this? What are the dollars and cents? And that's how you can help be more competitive, because a lot of these letters, they're boilerplate. I already know how it's going to go. Oh, I need your help. Oh, and it's just like, well, but when I read something like Africa only has 4 children's hospitals, there's 500 billion kids going without health care. Now that speaks to me, right? And then sometimes, it takes a little bit more time, but, right, take the time, even if you have the baseline template, take the time to maybe make one sentence personal. Mia, as a mother, I'm sure you can understand what would be like this. Just imagine if Benjamin didn't have health care. Well, there's 5 million moms dealing with that thought on a daily basis. Then that makes sense. How Barack Obama won the campaign is he micro-targeted people. And so it takes time, there's some customization. He started planning, in 06 that he was going to run. So, okay, these are the primaries, these are the districts, these are, he could tell you, oh, so-and-so, don't go knock on her door. She doesn't vote until 7 p.m. Like research was that targeted. He could tell you what time, or, oh, don't ask Mia for money on a Friday, you're not going to get it. You got to email her on a Sunday. So what I'm saying is customize.
For Mia? Any final questions? She's going to be here, you guys. I want to make sure that we close out with a couple more things. Again, she does this every day. This is her world. This nonprofit, this philanthropic endeavors. She consults. This is her business. So this is an expert that you want to get her number. Okay, you want to make sure you get her email, contact information.
Business card.
If not, you write it on the board.
Write it on the board, okay.
You write it on the board. Here you go. There you go. Here, use this one.
Okay.
The other thing I want to say is if you're a student and you're here for extra credit, make sure you sign in and let me know that, you were here, what class you were here for. What I got up on the board as well, Mia, and I want you to take a look at it as you, as you get a chance, is our business entrepreneurship support donor letter, which we want to send out. And I think one of the big things about the time of the year is this holiday, and I got to give some money away before the end of the year, tax time, right? Organizations are going through that process. Michelle just got a call on an organization saying, hey, we need to figure out who to give our money to. People are wondering how they can help, right? So timing is everything.
Yeah, CPAs are calling me.
That's great. No, when they're calling, going, hey, who do you know who needs some help?
Yeah, I mean it's real, So that's what keep 8-word mission. I'm telling you, because then a person can automatically know. They hear, okay, Panama, or if I hear Haiti, okay, Garcelle lives in Haiti. You know what I mean? Or I hear disability, okay, his sister has disability, he wants to give to that. Someone called me and said, what about Brown Girls Leap? Okay, so and so wants to give to that. If I hear, it's like when I hear eco-friendly, then I think, okay, Leonardo DiCaprio, let me hear some more, So just keep it to the point, because people are getting so many asks.
That takes me to something that I thought of, and I talk about a lot of things, but connecting the dots. You have to know how to connect the dots and which dots go where. You got to make sure that you are continuously thinking about your networks and how you can connect the dots, because there's money in connecting the dots, right? If I can give her a donor, and she can find, someone that can receive that money, she's going to take care of me in that process, because I networked her a potential, lead or something. So that's a little bit more about what we talked about at the very beginning, which is, networking and making sure you touch people.
Right, and like you said, connect the dots, do the research, figure out, do they have a new general manager that's coming to the area?
Did you leave your card? Did you have a number to get a hold of you, or does it just show up in the store?
I ordered my business cards. I'm just waiting for them to come in.
That's same with me too, yeah.
So let me
This is my.
maybe you have an email.
And be
or-
prepared. I'm not even following my
I
own.
want to give you guys your
No,
number.
right now I haven't gotten it, but I'm going to be able to have something.
Okay. I'll just put the store number down.
Yeah.
what's the store number?
It's 818-365-7710.
You see this? This is persistence. You don't have a card? Okay, you got a number? Can I call the store? Your sister? You know? You know? And I don't know if he sent out who the panelists were gonna be, but maybe you could have already had something to talk to her about. So, you know, just do your research. There's people here.
No, I did not.
Well, ask him. You know,
Work in progress for
sometimes
us.
I'll email people, who else is on the panel? Right? What student, who's the audience? You know, I'm always looking for clients, right? So, you know, those kinds of things. Or if you notice that he didn't do that, you may say, hey, Dr. Dorsey, I noticed that maybe you need some admin help. Then just do it. No, I mean, I'm just being honest with you. That's how, someone said to me, how did you get the, people don't work. Someone said, well, how did you get the president as a client? How did you do that? And I essentially just made myself his godmother's intern. She said, I noticed she was always, I'm like, if you want, I can put together the guest list for you. Would you like me to do that? No, I didn't say, well, I'm the CEO of my own company. You know, I represent Fox, I represent Longoria. No, I'll do anything. And it's that little thing, you know, then next she was like, well, cool. Well, can you do this for me? Sure. And then she felt indebted to me. And then so when I needed her to do something for me, it was one call. She was like, oh, I'll just text Reggie Love right now, which is pretty much texting the president because that was his body man.
Is he still in that position?
No, he lives, you know.
Oh,
He's out here. You know, has the best Rolodex and yeah.
so that might be somewhere I want to send our letter to. Yeah.
You know, so those kinds of things is be willing to be of service, you know. Say, you know, wow, you just came here. I see you don't have business cards. You need me to pick them up? Or do you need some help? I mean, I'm just saying, like, be of service. You know, be of service. Say, do you need me to drive some people to your store? I got 1,000 Twitter followers. You know, I mean, use your resources.
Oh, I thought you were going to raise your hand for a question. Okay.
Or do you want me to pass these out all over campus? Do you want me to give these to all the faculty members? You know, those kinds of things. So that's it.
Give her a hand, you guys. Give me a hand. Thank you, Miss. I really appreciate that. That was invaluable. That was right there. That was about $2,000. That's all? Well, because you were in the sport for a half hour. Let's give her $5,000. She only needs a $5,000 minimum. Couple of last things, and then we'll open it up for open discussion. What I was showing on here was the support letter that we've been working on with the Business Entrepreneurship Club, and it's a work in process. I mean, we're going to tweak it. It's not done yet, but we worked on our mission, which basically says is to provide student leadership, real-world, hands-on training experience that will provide future entrepreneurs, students, small businesses, community members, assistants, and the local ecosystem. No, it's not 8 words, but we have to really think about what we want to do.
But that's your vision.
Okay, so we'll work on changing our vision, and then we'll minimize our mission to 8 words. So Oscar, start thinking about the 8 words that we want to.
I mean, I've learned so much that I'm already thinking of what we can do. 8 words, very important. Yeah.
Because we do have different endeavors. One of the things that in our list of services is now we're offering a VITA program here on campus, which helps low-income families, not necessarily low-income, but families that are making less than $58,000 help with their taxes. And our students are going to get certified to do that. And as tax season rolls around, we're going to have a lot of people coming on campus to get help with their taxes. And this is just one of many programs that we're going to be rolling out with the club. And students, this is your resume builder. This is how you get jobs, you know, because now you've got different areas of expertise and skill set on your resumes that you can then put on there. And Michael, does it help? Does it, having your resume with a lot of volunteer service and just skill set and things like that to get these jobs, because right now it's competitive, right? How many job applications you guys get every day at Sam's Club? Hundreds. Let's just call that thousands.
Okay.
Because anytime you can think about, oh man, 100 people coming in, downloading, and, going online, there's probably more.
Are you guys hiring now that it's holiday season?
Some Sam's Club and Walmarts are hiring. Right now, currently, we're already staffed for the holidays, but normally, Walmart, there's a lot of seasonal hiring just during the holidays. And some Sam's Clubs too as well. So, just kind of go out there and ask and see what is hiring.
And one of the things that you guys need to know is the student membership in the Business Entrepreneurship Club are learning how to be entrepreneurs. So that comes with consulting. That comes with writing business plans, working on your marketing plans, and creating your own business. I mean, what Manny's doing right here, streaming video, radio, that's huge. But again, this is some of the skills that we gotta do in order to market our company, which is part of the school of LA Mission College. Mission College being first in Entrepreneurship Club. So I just wanted to show you guys that. The other part of sponsorship and finding partners comes with having an actual sponsorship deck.
Let me show you my box.
Please show me one of yours, and I'm going to pull up a couple of things that I have as well. Do you need to log in like email wise?
No, I just need to Google it.
Sure.
I think everything should be searchable, so that if you sponsors, there are people looking to give away money.
We have waters in the back and soda, so if someone's even here, you're more than welcome to come up here.
And the shirt can be purchased for, what's that, $10 on the entrepreneurship shirt?
Yes.
So if you wanna be an entrepreneur,
That's a great shirt.
I wear it all the time. People always say, man, you're an entrepreneur. LA Mission College, so. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so what you see on the board is a sample of a sponsorship deck. It's what they're using right now, or what they used last year. Is it now or last year?
Now, we're using it now.
Okay, and I mean, this is explosive right here. You're getting a good visual of celebrities and involvement, people, and there you can.
But each one of these things makes sense. Like, go up, like for example, they want to know, we're telling them, you can sample your product. That's experiential marketing, right?
Sampling the product, we just talked about that for those that are in class. That's a much more cost effective for a small business owner to sample their products versus doing an ad campaign or spending major marketing dollars. You get them to taste it, feel it, touch it, smell it, and then they go and buy it.
Then we help them understand, maybe you can co-brand your bag with us, right?
Where's the bag? Oh, down there at the bottom. Oh,
So
nice.
each one of these pictures that I chose is for a specific reason. I didn't just put pictures up here, right? And then, some numbers. And then, yes, companies are altruistic, but there's a business need. So raise your brand awareness. Then we have the marketing matrices, media,
Sponsors.
impressions, right? Okay, he's going fast, okay.
I'm sorry, we're going to do it all.
Your benefits, right?
Do you have the levels of support? There it is. Okay, so
Yeah.
how much did you put how much?
Well,
of
we
it?
don't do it like that. Everything's customized.
Oh, okay. Okay, so when it gets time to asking for the different levels of sponsorship is when you would send them another document?
Typically, yes,
Is that
and it's
what
more customized, and it's a one pager. And then we'll maybe put their logo in it. Maybe we'll have this picture, but we'll put their logo across there so they can see it. So it takes a little bit more time, but they can see it. So that's one thing.
And when you're doing events, and you're looking for strategic partnerships, it has to be a win-win. If you're telling them, hey, we're gonna have 200, 300, 400, or 1,000 people there, now they have a little more incentive to maybe want to touch it.
And who are those people?
Well, that's the biggest thing.
Exactly. So a lot of times we put on here, who are those people? Because if they're not buying your product, then you're just wasting your money, right? So
It
you go.
depends on what they consider waste. Sometimes they gotta give it away and write it off.
So like, Go down to the next one. This was one of my ideas. I was like, every place we can brand. So we brand the bathroom. We sold the bathroom.
What bathroom? Where's the bathroom?
So like, this is in the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
So we went to Neutrogena, that's local, and I said, why don't we turn the bathroom into a little lounge? You know, that's my Matt T right there.
Which one?
She, anyway, shout out to her.
She's a foster kid?
Huh?
Is she foster or is she just a 15?
She was homeless.
Homeless.
She was homeless. Now she's going to college. So, you know, we showed them this, and then go up building relationships. That's what people want to do. And then what's important is, like, who's your donor? You know, this is what, you know, again, it takes a little research, but like Sam's Club may want to know, or if you're a meat packing company and 90% of your donor base, you know, doesn't eat meat.
They trying to put you out of business.
Right.
They're trying to keep you in business.
It's not aligned, right? So this is, you know, how much we spend on beauty and fashion, you know?
Now, is this something that's done in PowerPoint? Is it done in what program?
We use InDesign and Adobe. I do the content, more or less.
Somebody else designs it?
Yeah, I have somebody, but I tell them what I look to be in there. You know, so we talk about this, and then we scroll up. But, you know, you want to tell people how many media impressions do you have? Maybe what category exclusivity. And then we show them. You know, this is what we did with Tina Turk.
Did you say Tina Turner?
Tina Turk.
Oh, Turner, I was going to say, that's my auntie.
So we show them. And then we come up, you know, signage, post-event, recap, logo, hyperlink to all event materials.
I like the gold, silver, and bronze. People use many different, you know, levels of names of how they create sponsorship opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're getting with our business entrepreneurship club. We're getting to our event levels of sponsorship and how you can sponsor.
Yeah, your level of engagement.
We have 12,000 students here on campus, and we can get to them all at some point in time during the day. So, you know, we have a win-win. You have a question?
And
Beautiful thing, by the way. As far as, I guess, starting off as a startup nonprofit organization, how do you guys get media? How do you guys, I guess, build relationships with celebrities to come to your event? If, let's say, your first event, you want to, make it like 1,000+ guest list, how do you go about, compiling that invitation list? Or have the celebrities come to your event, or have the media press come to your event?
well, to have the media, well, there's a couple ways you can do it.
Spin.
Yeah, quite frankly.
You gotta spend. You gotta spend some money.
Spend.
Okay, so you get into donors first, you get the money into students.
Well, or get a capacity building grant.
Capacity building money.
Yeah, because they know that, you know, if you don't have a phone number or a donate button or a website,
Right.
you know, those are things you need for infrastructure for what you want to do, right? So you could do a capacity building grant and you put together a budget for that.
Capacity building is one of the easier grants to get from organizations if you're just getting into business. I've gotten them before, so, you know, you typically can get about $5,000.
Yeah, were you?
Can you get that through the Southern California Managers website?
No, I would go to Foundation Center and see who gives capacity building grants.
Most big ones do.
Right.
You know, that's just part of the little bit of money that they'll put aside, and
right.
you know, they got millions of dollars of discretionary.
Because they
funds.
want to be able to say, like, for example, Liberty Hill helped out Cocoa Coalition 20 years ago. And now Cocoa Coalition is doing amazing work. We helped them. We were at the beginning. And so, you know, they do that. Right? And then also, you want to date people first.
Get to know
You know,
them.
you want to get to know the organization first. You want to date them first. I mean, you talk about press, but if you want to get some press, subscribe to Help a Reporter Out. Because sometimes they may email, there's a disaster just happened in Panama. A reporter may need a quote. That's free. So you may want to subscribe to Help a Reporter Out.
Just
try
while I
to do
got
that.
it up here,
Mm-hmm.
click on those links. You know, click on the person that's given $34 billion and see how you can figure out where you connect. Click on the top 100 of these organizations because these are who is giving, and then find the connection between your organization and their organization, and all it takes is one. Right?
We'll meet the program officers. The program officers are the ones that, you know.
Do they have a membership or some type of organization for program officers?
No, you gotta pay for that kind of
Okay.
information.
Do they have? Well, then set up your own dinner. Set up your own. Invite
But I
your
do need a
program
social
officer.
media person, you
Yeah.
do a little
You can do
social
some
media
bartering.
for me.
You can do
I
some
can give you a
bartering.
little information. No, I'm just kidding. But,
No, that's very true. The idea is
all
that
my intel.
either bring them to you or go meet them where they're at. In most cases, you have to go meet them where they're at. And so that's part of the research of doing your network.
But like, for example, click on the California Community Foundation.
Oh, the one you work at?
Yeah.
Y'all down here. Y'all in the middle, but that's still big.
I'm not there no more, you know?
They tripping.
I mean,
You
55.
can also see the people who receive grants from here or got donations, so you can.
So
look
go
at
to,
apply.
go to Explore, I would just go to Explore CCF.
Okay.
It's funny, I helped with their whole rebranding, and I should know the website. Go to, staff,
This staff somewhere?
about us maybe.
No, I'll find staff.
Click about us.
Okay.
It might not be intuitive. Click about us. Go to CCF staff. Grants and programs, click there. Oh wow, hold on. Summer's doing that. But anyway, so she's vice president of programs. So, like, click Peter, right? He's a program. Yeah, he's a program officer.
And they're in charge of.
So you see,
Senior Program Officer for Educating, Managing, and Education Program of CCF. Teacher grant. Teacher grant. Wait a minute. You didn't tell me this was me.
oh yeah, that's the now this is the easiest grant to get.
I need to get this one
No,
applied
no.
to on Monday.
It's for elementary school students. I would get a stack like this, and I'd be like, wow, y'all do need a grant, because this stuff is just typos and stuff all over the place. But it's the easiest $2,500 you ever want to get.
We're gonna work on that one. See, there's always something to be done. That's the part of this.
I mean, it was a lot. I used to, when that would come around. Anyways, so you see who he is. He went to UCLA, try to figure out if he's part of the Alumni Association, right?
And every organization will have this on their website. So
you want to,
once you align, you can find them.
so, and just Google them, look at their LinkedIn, see if you have any friends in common.
Mickey, you don't know her.
Who?
She took over your job.
No, she didn't take over my job. I was never an associate. I was always an officer. But she's the vice president of programs, so click on her. And just see what board she serves on. See who she is,
Speaking of that, boards, once you get heavily tied into the nonprofit world and careers and all that stuff, boards pay you. It's not just volunteer service and your time. Starbucks boards, I'll make $1 million. Now, they're all rich, but they
right.
make $1
But
million.
it's like, how do you social climb, right? But and there's people who recruit people to be on paid boards. But first, what I was going to say is, have you heard of Southern California Leadership Network? I would do that. That's where I would start if I were. Then you get to know the whole landscape of Southern California, and they have scholarships. You had a Leadership Network.
We're giving you a lot of sites, a lot of research, a lot of homework.
This is a great fellowship, and people from the nonprofit sector, from all over. They're having their visionary awards on, email them, see if you can volunteer.
An active network. It's great. Passionate about an issue? Great.
So go to some of these events.
I haven't even logged on to this. Oh, wait.
But it's a, Southern California Leadership Network is a 10-month program. It's every Friday. It's one Friday a month, and you just learn the nuts and bolts of everything civic Los Angeles. No. But you can apply for a scholarship.
But again, I guarantee you, if you tweet them, Facebook them, and put them in your network, they'll offer you stuff because you're marketing for them. Whenever you hashtag and put them in there, you're marketing for a company. I've seen it happen. Okay, I only got a few more minutes left.
But that's a great organization, or a Coro Fellow, where you can learn everything you want to know, soups to nuts about the actual programs and things of nonprofits in Southern California.
I want to finish it off with a couple of slideshows of more information on what you would need to do to put together a grant. Again, this is a PowerPoint. This is a template. It's available in PowerPoint templates, I do believe. I'm not sure. But if you needed to PowerPoint your grant, you don't want to show somebody the big old, stack of grant that you've written. Again, intro, the organization, brief description, put your logo there. What is this project about? Explain to the organization or to whoever's potentially a funder what it's about. Give them the benefits. Benefit and needs analysis is very important when you're trying to sell something. All right? I did sales, outside sales for 7 years. You're always selling something. Politicians are always selling something. So make sure you have identified a good problem statement. All right? Because that's what they need to know. What's the problem? How do I need to help you? And then data, always back it up with the data. People love facts. People love numbers. They love the data. If you're just throwing something out there, I need $1 million. Why? Oh, because there's homelessness out there. How many people are homeless? Where are they homeless at? Why are they homeless? You have to back it up with the data. And then, have an objective. That was the ask question. Why do you need $10,000 again? Oh, because you have some bills to pay? Or specifically, what are you going to use $10,000 for? It's important to put this in a grant and or something like a summary of a grant, which is this. List the benefits again. Benefits and needs analysis is always important. What kind of work? The statement of work. What do you need to get done? For us, we need a lot of things. We need computers. We need backpacks. We need resources. We need operating expenses. Marketing materials. That's what we need. And you might have more than a couple of needs, so you list that down there. Timetables are important. This is the benchmarking. This is how long it's going to take. You need a year. You need 6 months. So you would definitely insert phase 1, 2, 3. Put a timetable on to when things are going to get done. We're always working on a timetable here. Every week we have something new to bring to the table. And so if we got money for that, they will want to know. Need a budget. Got to have a budget. Everything comes with a budget. If you can't explain to somebody what's your budget, how much money is it going to take to get this over, then it's not going to work. So just kind of putting some basic line items in there. Personnel, technology, might have some marketing, promotion, distribution. All of those things need to be put into a budget. All right?
And your pipeline, your friend that's $1 million, that has $1 million, put them on, these are some people who we would like to go after, but we need some money to properly present.
This right here is very important. I had a guest speaker that brought in his experience in terms of grants. He said your personnel is very important. What is your management team? Who's on your management team? What's their resume? How does their experience lend to the credibility of the organization? So make sure you vet your management team. Make sure that the resumes have the necessary backup information on it to impress somebody. Okay? And then this is the research part of it, doing a full-on evaluation. Again, this is a PowerPoint, so you're not going to give them the whole statistical summary. Survey. You just give them some summary stuff. Yes.
More pictures.
More pictures or less?
Pictures. Sometimes people like pictures.
Endorsements. Throw those pictures up in here. Give them some celebrity input because that shows that you have connection with people. Who's endorsing your organization? And then lastly, you always finish your PowerPoint off with some questions. Alright, and so what I wanna do is always be respectful of you guys' time. So I'm gonna close my mouth and listen. If there's any questions, any type of information that wasn't presented for you guys, please let me know. And Oscar, if you have something to say, please jump in.
Just thank you for coming by. I mean, I hope you learned a lot of information that they brought to you today. We're going to be having future workshops. I believe it's twice a month. And if you're a student, we're going to be having workshops between classes. So just if you get some emails, you're more welcome to come to some workshops. It's great. It's for the community. If you know someone, your family, friend, a co-worker, let them know that we have workshops here.
Tell
and it's all
them
free.
the name of your workshop and what day it's coming. So
It's going to be November 19th. It's going to be Tuesday. It's called, for students, it's called How to Build Your Credit with Your Financial Aid. I think it's very important for students to be able to understand their credit and read their credit, because at some point,
how that happens.
how that happens is, how that's going to happen is pretty much when you get a financial check, where do you go deposit it at? What you can do with that financial check, you can go to Wells Fargo's, credit unions, and go open up a secure credit card. With that secure credit card, go buy your book. Use it as a credit card, treat it as a credit card, and you start building your credit. So that's just some easy ways, and it's important because as students, or not only students, just anyone that wants to buy a house, a car, rent a place, they're always gonna go back down to looking at your credit. And that's very important for students. You know, if you're gonna go study abroad, I mean, you gotta have good credit. You know, you gotta, there's a lot of things that we can do with good credit. And to me, credit is your number one asset base. So those are workshops that we're gonna be having. I'm gonna be teaching, and thank you. Thank you for stopping by.
Any final thoughts, you guys? Any questions for Mia, for Dahlia, for myself, for Oscar? Yes.
So you work for the school?
No school, I work for
She's one of my business partners.
Okay. And then you're next
Her company is the Corner Group. That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, you know, we're very appreciative of your support. Tell a friend. We want to build. This is free, you guys. It costs you 2 hours of your time. I didn't ask you for nothing. We're actually giving you something. So, you know, enjoy the rest of your day. Hashtag these with your social networks. We want to build up our following. We want to just grassroots it all the way to the top. Go ahead, man.
One of the things that's great about being a student is anybody will talk to you. You can call a CEO of an organization, you know, contact, because you're not competition. You know, you're not competing with them for a job, make them feel good. So I was able to network because I networked a lot when I was a student. I would play that student card to the hill.
I tell them all the time.
Dear so-and-so, I'm a student, want to know if I can talk to you.
Walk into the bank. Hey, I'm a student. Can you give $1,500 to our organization? Walk into a club, to organization. You're a student. It's important.
Maybe your nonprofit could become a project of LAMC College, and they can do all the admin work, and they can, if you have that behind you, you still get taxed at 10%, huh?
He needs more foot soldiers, obviously. You had a question over there, Kelsey? Anybody else have a question? All right. Our time is up. It's 12 o'clock. You guys can please help yourself to some of the refreshments in the back, and make sure you get literature at the table. See you next time. Signing out. This is Dr. Dorsey signing out. This is Entrepreneurship Club Workshop number 3. We want to see you at the next one, so come on down.